right. Hail and hello, everyone. As I work on getting some of the specifics of things sorted. Hello, Patrick. Hail and welcome. Just doing a quick audio check. Can everybody hear me okay? And can you hear the little background music? Just wanting to check. So if you're coming in and you're tuning in and you're catching the live stream, please let me know if I am audible and if you can hear the background little, music and whatnot. Okay, he says sound is good. Thank you so much. We'll get started here in just a few moments. Gonna minimize a few things and reduce a few things. Ambience is good. Ambience is God, as Patrick Walsh has said. Yes, ambient is God. No argument there, my man. Gods, the sacred, there is an ambience to them. And so, yeah, hope you're all doing well. I know the lighting is a bit funky, but I'm going to be reading from things. Reading from the Havamal. And I need some light. So there's this glare because it's coming in from this side, because I'm going to have to read from, the damn thing. But what I have done is, for everybody that is perhaps just, tuning in, we're just getting a few people watching right now. Please share the video, share it and broadcast it on your respective social media platforms. Would love to get a nice audience here. And I do want to call attention to the pinned information in the live chat. So it is a Heathen call to action, or anybody that just wants to help. A friend and a brother of mine is in need and could use some financial aid. And so anybody that is willing and able to contribute and buy him a coffee, right? We're calling this a Heathen call to action, but the gesture is, a monetary donation for the price of a cup of coffee. All right. And everything that is donated through the link in the live chat, that Ko-Fi link, all of the proceeds that go, to the donations are going to go to my Heathen brother, Dingo, who is just needing some assistance and some aid. Okay. So if you're able to contribute that way, then please do so. Make sure that my camera angles, I got to make sure that I'm in the right. There we go. I think I might have bumped it a little bit. All right. So we're good. Back and forth on a couple things. I'm looking at one monitor. I'm looking at the camera, looking at my lighting, looking at my scotch. Got to get that whole thing sorted out. So we're going to get rocking and rolling here in just a moment. But please, if you can help in that way, check out the link in the, live chat thing before. Thank you, Patrick. That means a lot. Looking forward for Patrick Walsh to be coming out here in September next month. Like we were just talking about this the other day. It seems like months ago, and it was, September is so far away, and now here we are, just about a month away from Patrick Walsh coming out here to Tennessee, and we're gonna hang out for a weekend or so and meet some of the local Middle Tennessee heathens. Hopefully, some of my tribesmen, kinsmen of that sort of thing. But for today, We are going to be reading from the Havamal, and I'm going to do my best to read the Old Norse version and the modern English translation. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. If you are not yet a subscriber, if you're watching for the first time, my name is Jesse. I host weekly podcast videos that are pretty much the running consistent content here for my channel. It is called the Random Heathen Ramblings podcast. It is available on all major podcast streaming platforms. And I have that, so please subscribe to the channel if you like random heathen discussions. I try to post weekly videos, usually every Thursday mornings. In addition to that, I'll post some short video content, some reels, some shorts, various things. But if it's heathen related stuff that you're here for, and if it's heathen related content that you want to follow, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you want to help in any sort of way, support this platform, support the Midgard Musings brand and the Random Heathen Ramblings podcast. Check out the description of this video for the Linktree link that's always posted, because all of my social medias and all the ways that you can support this podcast are listed there. But for today, the purpose of this live stream is to try and help Dingo out. So if you do want to contribute anything monetarily today and in real time, please consider donating via the Ko-Fi link that is posted up there, right above the live stream stuff. All right, so we just got a couple people watching right now. It's a pretty quiet night. I know this was random. It's poorly planned. So I think, Patrick, it's just me and you for right now. Hopefully we get some more people, tuning in here shortly. Hopefully the algorithm does its job. Talking to you, YouTube. Get some people alerted, get some people notified that a channel with nearly 5,000 followers is streaming live. Let's get some people interacting and talking. All right, but so we've been now live for the last 5 to 10 minutes or so. Let's get this party started. You say there, Patrick? Yeah, party time. Party time, baby. All right. So as I've done in the past, this translation of the Havamal is the Wanderer's Havamal, as authored by Jackson Crawford. And it's got both the Old Norse translation and the modern English parts, okay? Live on Air's Embrace. All right, cool. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that. So it's been a while since I've done a live reading of the Havamal. And the last time I did it, we stopped in at stanza 39. So I'm going to do my best, and we're just going to pick up basically where we left off the last time. All right. So starting at stanza 39, I'll start by reading the Old Norse and then read the modern English translation for it. All right, so here we go. Bank a ek milden man, eida swarmata goden, at veri thiga tegir, eida sins fjär sva, gjofen et leif se laun ifthegi. I have never met a man so generous, nor so hospitable, that he would not welcome repayment. Nor have I met a man so giving, that he'd turn down a thing offered in return. And this is true, as generous as one may be, as giving as someone might be, one is never so generous, one is never so giving, where in the reciprocation, the return of this gift is not sought for in return. There's always this underlying expectation, almost as it were, to, have that repayment met. The theme of reciprocation is seen throughout Germanic cultures, throughout multiple cultures of the world. I mean, to give, to get, right? There's this reciprocation theme that is alive and well. So no matter how generous you are, no matter how giving you might be, there is always this expectation. There's always this, all right, well, what am I getting in return for this? I've given this much. Now, what do we get in return? And I think there's an important thing to think about, too, with regards to the why, right? Why do we seek reciprocity? Why do we seek this equal exchange or this gifting cycle engagement, right? Well, it's because to get something, we need to give something. And then so therefore by giving, we expect to get in return. So stanza 40. Jórsins finger hefur skilit með þurf þurle opt spari leidum Tots hefur nifjun hugur marth ginger veti and varir. Do not be so sparing in using your money that you don't use it for your own needs. Often, what you save for your children will end up in the hands of your enemies. Many things will go worse than you expect. So do not be so sparing in the using of your money. I feel like this is one of those admonitions or warnings to, if you sit on a fortune, if you hoard the fortune that you have accumulated, and you don't put it to use, you don't do something good with it, you don't apply it, you don't invest, perhaps might be a good term, but if you just hoard the riches, the fortune that you've acquired, then there is a high possibility that fortune gets distributed out to the hands of those who you do not want it to fall into. Okay. And so it's kind of like I look at it in a way, and again, this is a very like modern twist to it, but I've seen people who have gone and avoided going to things or avoided going to do things because I can't afford it, right? All the bills I need to pay, blah blah blah. Maybe it's a concert, maybe it's an event, maybe it's this. And I've seen posts, and it's like, buy the damn concert tickets, go to the thing, right? Do that thing because you only got that one chance, and you'll figure it out later on. Do not be so sparing in the use of your money, right? Live in the moment, enjoy it. You've got it. Be responsible, be thoughtful, but also don't be so greedy as to hoard things, Well, Halen, welcome. It says, hey, glad got to get an alert on this. Hope we're doing well. Yes, Big Cat, doing well indeed. Thank you for letting us know that you got the alert. Please be sure to share the video. Invite your heathen and pagan friends to join and listen to the readings of the Havamal as spoken by me in Old Norse and Modern English. I'm doing the best that I can with what limited knowledge that I have of that language. And we are also doing this to sort of spread and raise awareness for a heathen brother of mine, specifically my Gothi, who is in some financial need. So if you look at the pinned live chat link, it's a Ko-Fi link. If you're so, inclined and available to contribute the cost of a cup of coffee, it's a $3 donation. All of the proceeds are going to Dingo in his time of need. So just want to call attention to that. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Stanza 41, where are we now? Let's see here. Vopnum och vaden skulle viner glädjesk. Thought erast jag från sinnet. Vid Greifinder och Erlengefinder eros läns viner if thought bider what verda väl. Friends should provide their friends with weapons and clothing. This kind of generosity shows. Generous mutual giving is the key to lifelong friendship. Yes, generous mutual giving. And there's a point, I think, where we need to consider the weight of a gift, the value of a gift. Hello, Tanya. Halen, welcome to you. Thank you for tuning in. If I don't catch your name right, if I just, I want to regard and give regards to everybody that's tuning in and commenting live stream or in the live chat. Thank you so much for tuning into the live stream of my reading of the Havamal in Old Norse and in Modern English. As I mentioned, if there's contributions that you're looking to give to Dingo right now, then check the link that's pinned to this live chat. It's a Ko-Fi link. It's a $3 donation. All of that goes towards him. This is what we're doing this for. And thank you so much for being here. So yeah, one of the things I want to talk about real quick, we're talking about gifting, right? Reciprocity, the gifting cycle. Friends should provide their friends with weapons and clothing. This kind of generosity shows, and generous mutual giving is the key to lifelong friendship. There's also a point I feel that the gift that is given in some ways is maybe flexing is a bad term, but it's like, hey, I've got what I got to give to you. I don't necessarily expect the same in return, but the gesture almost implies that, hey, I'm giving something to you now. What are you going to do for me? And it doesn't necessarily have to be that the thing that you do for me is going to be of equal monetary value, but it's going to be of something of value that balances out the gifting exchange, right? So in other words, if I was to give, you know, or if a king or whoever was to give an exceptional amount of money to somebody for them to benefit from, I may not, or that king or that jarl or that person, whatever, they may not seek monetary reciprocity. However, what they might seek is something of equal value to reciprocate, right? Oh, I'm giving you all of this. Now, what are you going to do for me? Right? There's this, again, there's this sense of obligation. There's a sense of reciprocity to feed into that gifting exchange and that gifting cycle. One of the few to pronounce your name right. All right, cool. Yeah. So I'm assuming that if people are looking at your name online, they're going to say, perhaps if they don't know, they're going to say Tanja. I don't know why. But to me, the J is the yeah, right? So it's Tanya. So great. Awesome. Fantastic. And thank you for being here. All right. Stanza 42. First in Old Norse. Vin sinum skal man vinner vera, och jaudar gylf vid giof. Again, apologies if any linguists out here that are proficient in Old Norse are listening to this and going, oh my God, he's butchering it. Doing the best that I can with what I know. Hljótur við flati, skili hjulur toga, in lausung vidu lygi. Be a friend to your friend and repay each gift with a gift. Repay laughter with laughter. Repay treachery with treachery. And this is an interesting part to consider. I'm going to pause for just a moment before we move on to stanza 43, right? Be a friend to your friend. Repay each gift with a gift. Repay laughter with laughter, and repay treachery with treachery. So there's an implication here that sometimes the things that are given and sometimes the things that are received may not always be the most favorable of things. And we're talking about things between friends. You know, that's a really interesting thing to think about. You know, I always, at least previously, looked at this particular stanza. It's, you know, you give back the way that you've been given, regardless of the relationship, regardless of the familial or friendly relations that you may have with this person. It's, you know, if somebody's being an ass to you, then you can be an ass back to them. But I think the context in which this stanza applies is what is between friends, what is between trusted folk, and what is between those who have established a relationship. Again, you have to look at the context of when this was written, the stanzas of the Havamal, like when all this was written and what it's being like what's being talked about in relation to the societal norms of the time, right? It's, you know, bartering and reciprocity was the thing that made the world go round. And are we in that same societal structure now and today in modern times? Probably not so much, at least not in the same degree as it was back then. You know, people can buy their way out of almost anything nowadays, whereas in the past, it was, you know, what can you offer to me that matches or meets what I offer to you? And so when you are met with animosity, when you're met with disdain, when you are met with treachery, it was understood that, well, you know, tit for tat, you know, you kick my dog, I'll kick your cat, as the old rhyme and saying goes. So this idea or this concept of, you know, friends should repay each gift with a gift. If you're going to be a jerk to me, then you can expect that I'm going to be a jerk to you in return. And I think there is applicable times now in modern society with tribes and with people who you are nearest and dearest to, that as long as you understand, like, hey man, I'll do whatever I can for you and you'll do whatever you can for me. But if you're going to be a tool and you're going to disrespect me, then you can expect that thing to be reciprocated. So again, it's a very weird dynamic. I think that there's a lot of maybe misunderstanding in its application now in modern times with the way it was back then, right? I mean, nobody's trying to be purposely be a jerk to somebody, but like, hey man, like, you know, and I'm going to use an example that I've had in my own life and now in modern times that I've used in some of my conversations with people. I had somebody that used to live with my wife and I, somebody who I thought was trusted, somebody who I thought was a friend, somebody who I thought was worthy of reciprocity in the gifting exchange. And so, but with them staying here, with them being here and present, you know, there was expectations, there was respect, there was an understanding that, hey, you know, you're in my hall, you're in my home. Well, when this person disrespected my home and, you know, caused structural damage, it's minor structural damage. I'm talking like that. They literally like punched a hole in the wall. Ridiculous, right? Stupid. But that was enough of a breach of our mutual agreement. I wouldn't necessarily call it an obligation, right? Like it wasn't that we were, you know, it wasn't like we were obligated to one another through oaths or anything like that, but there was just this mutual understanding, this mutual obligation that, hey, you're living in my house, you know, like respect it. Like when you take an action like causing structural damage to the place that you are being given shelter to, like, okay, well now I'm going to kick you out, and now I'm going to say I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. So again, repay treachery for treachery. I don't want you here now. You made that bed, now you gotta lie in it. So there's an example. You know, that's how I interpreted that particular thing. It's like, I'm not about to let you just do whatever it is that you think you can do to my house, to our house, to my wife's and my home without consequence, without reciprocity, you know. I'll do what I can for you when you need to be done, but then you're gonna be a jerk. Then, well, guess what? Your ass is out. You know. All right. So enough of that horse being beat to death. Let's move on to the next stanza, which is stanza 43. 43. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in and watching. Got 6 live viewers. chime in the live chat, wherever you're watching from, wherever you're tuning in from. Let me know. And if you are able to and want to contribute to Dingo's aid, the link in the Ko-Fi link that's posted up here in the live chat, it's pinned right above. Click on that and help out in any way that you can, and it's much appreciated. It's going all straight to him. All right, here we go. Let's see. Vin sinum skolman, vin nervera them och thes vin in overfrinorsins. Ili ignimad viner vera. Be a friend to your friend, and also to his friend, but never be a friend to the enemy of your friend. I'm going to say that one more time. Be a friend to your friend, and also to his friend, but never be a friend to the enemy of your friend. There's a phrase that I'm probably going to ruin right now because I'm trying to think of its construct, but you know, the friend of my enemy is my enemy. The enemy of my friend is my, like something like that. Same kind of context, right? Be a friend to your friend and also to his friend, but never be a friend to the enemy of your friend. And I've used this approach. I have taken this quite literally, and have expected the same to be met with me and my people and the people who I choose to, I guess, you know, tie weird with and have relations with, you know. I'll be your friend. And if you have a friend and there's nothing ill if you have nothing ill to say of this person, if they have proven themselves of worth to you, then I have no reason to think otherwise. But if your enemy and you're my friend, then they're my enemy too, right? Because there's a reason why you have found ill against them. And so it's a weird place to be now and today, right? With modern paganism, modern heathenry, modern social constructs of things. It's such a weird place to find oneself in, is that, you know, well, I don't want to socialize with you because you socialize with this person, that person. But man, I tell you what, be vigilant and be watchful and stand your ground when it comes to certain things. Don't just, you know, accept the fact that, oh, well, they didn't do anything necessarily to me directly or me personally, and so why should I hold ill against them? There's there's likely a valid reason why they have been marked as such in the community, or at least marked as such by a certain individual. So take note of that and be vigilant with who you choose to be friends with, because again, they might be the enemy of your friend, and if you should not be friends with the enemy of your friend, right? All right, stanza 44. All right, let's see, here we go. Vetsu if tu vin åt thon thu ve trut, sorry. Och vi thu av honom gortogera. Gedi skaltu vi thon blonda och gjufen skipra fara att finna åt. If you have a good friend, love this one. If you have a good friend and really trust them and want good to come of your friendship, you should speak your mind with him, exchange gifts, visit him often. Now, I'm going to pause for just a moment. I'm going to revisit this particular stanza in a moment. If you have a good friend and really trust him and want good to come of your friendship, you should speak your mind with him, exchange gifts, and visit him often. I've recently had to live out this stanza in the realest of terms. Speaking our minds with our friends can be one of the most challenging things to put ourselves in a position to do, because we're friends, right? We want to be friends with somebody. We want oftentimes the best to shine forth. But sometimes the mind that you have to speak is the mind of, dude, you're being an absolute tool right now. You're being ridiculous. Or in again, the whole reciprocity thing, sometimes you have to have your own attitude put in check. Sometimes you have to have your own self be put in check, and you have to hear that. Speaking the minds between friends is probably one of the most powerful methods of exchanging and tying weird with somebody, you know, because you are pouring your heart out to somebody. You are telling this person, you are wrong, I am wrong, whatever. You are being honest, you're being forthright, you're being upfront, and you are displaying truth. You are displaying that honesty. You are putting it out on the line, right? And so if you have a good friend, if you have someone who is of worth, that you have deemed of worth, and who they have deemed that you are worth something to them, if there is that familial bond, almost, if there's that strong connection, sometimes you got to get real with each other, man. Sometimes you got to, not sugarcoat anything. You got to lay it out on the line. Speak your minds with them. But exchange gifts, right? It's not about like, hey, man, I think you're a jerk, and I want to shame you and be narcissistic about it. It's, man, I love you. And I'm using the term like man, dude, whatever. Like, these are gender, maybe masculine gender terms, but I'm using them in a gender fluid sense. Like, everyone to me is a dude, right? Could be man, woman, non-binary, whatever. Like, everybody's a dude. The dude abides, right? So dude, chick, whatever, girl, hey, man, bruh, come on, right? You got to get yourself together, and you got to be honest with people, and you got to tell them, like it is, speak your mind with them. But look to exchange the gift, right? Give the gift of something. Like, I think you need to consider this particular thing, whatever it is, but, here's a token of my dedication. Here's a token of my love. Here's a token of my, friendship. And visiting them often, man, I can't stress this enough. Like, there is so much an absence of, maybe not so much nowadays, because you can connect with people in such an easy fashion, but connecting with people by visiting them, literally visiting them, not sitting at home and talking to them on a Facebook group or a Facebook message. And again, I understand there's a lot of that is relevant and important and valuable nowadays, because so much of the community that exists is largely an online community. There's people that can talk to each other across the world in different time zones in real time. It's unprecedented, right? Like, yes, it's precedented in terms of modern times, but in terms of, if you want to talk to somebody across the world, you either had to sail there, ride there, go there, or send an emissary and wait, months or a year or whatever it took to get a response. We are literally in times now where real-time conversation takes place between continents. Visiting people often, checking in with people often. You might look at it that way, right? Maybe I can't drive to California, or maybe I can't drive to England, or maybe I can't sail to wherever, right? Checking in with them, visiting them in that sort of way. Again, not necessarily the real thing, what's being talked about probably in the context in the stanza, but in modern times, how we connect with people, how we talk to people, how we engage with people, friends of ours, right? Are we utilizing those terms? What's up, Snake? Yes, did have a good friend that you bonded with for years, early school years. Did love him as a brother. Passed on 2 years ago. Oh wow. All right, yeah, and that's a beautiful relationship too. Like that gets into more of the metaphysical aspects of relationships. Just because someone is no longer physically here doesn't mean that they are gone. This stuff we're talking about right now, like, this is all very in the profane. This is the existence and the exchange and the interaction between physical, tangible relationships. I feel the existence and the relationship that we have with the spirit realm, which still does touch on the profane. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's still, the spirit realm does exist in profane space and time. But it's like another layer. It's like there's this other side of the profane that doesn't quite correlate to the physical profane. There's the spiritual profane, the physical profane perhaps might be a good way. But that's another conversation for another time, right? But respects to your friend who has passed on and who you have still connections with even to this day. All right, so stanza 45. If du åt annan dans du illa tror, vill du av honom för gott gira. Fagret skulle du ditan mela, en flott hia och girja lossong vid ligi. But if you have another friend and you mistrust him, but want to benefit from him nonetheless, you should speak to him kindly, flatter him, and repay his treachery with your own. And this is, my friends, are one of the things that I've, seen existed or manifested. Like, this thing exists so much now in modern times, right? You use people to the benefit of what you need it to be, whether or not they are trustworthy, right? I've had this happen to me. I've also executed and exercised this sort of thing. If I have something that I need to be done for the good and the betterment of my nearest and dearest, and I will leverage whoever and whatever I can to facilitate that. It's a very Odin-centric approach. It's very Odin to do such a thing. There is treachery involved with that sort of approach, right? It's a little bit malicious at the very least. It's you're using somebody for your own benefit. But you got to, again, look at it in the context of when it was written at the time and the society and the world of the way it was. Does it have its application in modern day? Sure it does. You got to get done what you need to get done. And you have an obligation to your nearest and your dearest, your inner circle tribe, your hearth cult, the roof tree that you reside under, and whoever falls under that roof tree. You have an obligation to those people. And so if that means that you have to get a little sideways sometimes with people who are less trustworthy or who are mistrusted by you, and you need to benefit from them in some way to do better for your own nearest and dearest, that may be the course of action that you have to take. I definitely do not advocate any sort of malicious or illegal or violent activities like that. Like, that is not something that I'm sitting here trying to say, like, yeah, you just, you need to go mess somebody up. Like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. There's more cunning involved, you know what I mean? Like, there's more wit and wisdom to be employed there. Still call out to him, yeah, absolutely. Tanya Wilson says, have found yourself also to be in a situation where you have been in a good relationship with a so-called enemy of another friend and end up being the mediator. That's, yeah, like you say, that's fun. That's always a weird, like the dichotomy that exists there is wild. I've been in that situation myself before as well. So wonderful to have you all here. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching. We're going to continue reading from the Havamal. My name is Jesse. Random Heathen Ramblings is my podcast. Midgard Musings is the channel, the brand, the so forth, all of that fun stuff. If you want to support the channel anyway, check the description for the Linktree link. Specifically tonight, if you're wanting to help contribute to anything in any sort of way, the pinned information up here in the top of this live chat is for Dingo, our brother, my brother specifically. I don't want to open up that familial title to just anybody, but my brother. He's been on this channel, he's been on this podcast, looking to aid him or provide some aid, financial aid to him. So if you want to help Dingo tonight, please consider donating a coffee, the cost of a coffee, through the Ko-Fi link that's posted up there. And thank you so much for that. All right, so moving on to stanza 46. Let's see here. Thot in oftan þú illa trúir, og þeir grunur að hann skeiðir þegja skálrú við þeim, og meila glíkskulo bjólgjófun. This same friend, if you mistrust him and suspect him to be false in his words, you should talk with him, laugh with him, but repay just what he gives you. Right? So be civil, be all right, be cool, right? Hey, we have a mutual need or mutual understanding, like we're all right. But in the background and behind the scenes, you're a bit more keen on the whole situation, and you pay him just what he gives you. There's an equal exchange, there's an equal reciprocity there. I'm not going to give you more than what you give me. I'm going to give you just what you give me, the niceties, the cordialness, that sort of thing, right? All right, so now moving on into stanza 47. Unger var ek forðun, for ek in samen, þá varð ek vílir vega. Áðjígir þótt ek annan fann, mother man's gamen. I was young once. I walked alone, and I became lost in my way. I felt I was rich when I met another traveler. People's joy is in other people. Yeah, so this one, again, speaks volumes right now for me, because I was young once. I walked alone. Become lost in your way. How many of us, and this is a response that I'm looking to get from people that are watching right now. We went from 8 to 4 people watching live. How many of us right now have ever felt that I'm alone, walking alone, and then that's all there was to it? And then did you become lost in that way? Did you become so disconnected with your people, with the community, with anybody, that you realized, yeah, I thought I was doing all right. I thought I was rich. I felt like I was rich. But once I reconnected with somebody, once I met somebody else, once I got that camaraderie, once I tied more weird with this person or that person, I realized that there is joy amongst people with other people. And this is such a challenging thing. This is such a common thing that we see now and today, is that I am a solitary practitioner. I am pagan, I am heathen, I am whatever, and I practice solitarily. Why do you practice solitarily? Why do you focus on being withheld or withdrawn from a community? Is it because of a fear of judgment? Is it because of a fear of being controlled in that community, right? Do you think that you're going to tie yourself to a community and be told how to think and how to be? What is it? Ultimately, there is joy with people. People's joy is with people. And that's one of the fundamental things that I've realized and found about reintroducing public meetups, park moots, things like that here in the Middle Tennessee area, is that as great as it is to nourish, cultivate, and grow your own hearth cult, the thing that happens underneath your roof tree, the thing that is sovereign, the thing that nobody, no one, nowhere can tell you how to do it. That is sovereign, that is sacred, and that is up to you. But the inclusion of people outside of that sovereignty, outside of the enclosure of your inner yard, there is joy to be had, there is community to be felt, and there is good to be experienced. There's joy in other people. And I'm so glad to have the opportunity here in Middle Tennessee to get to know people and see what other people are doing and bounce ideas off each other. Hey man, what are you doing over there? What are you guys, you know, what is the Nashville Heathens doing? What are the North Alabama Heathens doing? What are the Clarksville Heathens? What are the Kentucky Heathens doing? Right? We're in a pretty neat like area of the country where people from other regions, maybe other states, like I guess it's the Mid-South region, or the southern region of the United States, but like there's people that come from hours away or whatever to see how these folks are doing it and to share ideas and talk about those things. And it's great. Like the last Middle Tennessee Heathens meetup that we had in Murfreesboro, Tennessee at the McAllister's Deli and Medical Center, like there was like 20 some odd people there, 15, 20 people maybe. I don't want to overshoot it, but it was a nice crowd. The majority of whom had never met each other before. Like I knew my wife, of course, and a friend of mine, my tribesman Patrick, and like a couple of other people that showed up. The rest of the crowd they were strangers to me at that point. I had never met them a day in my life, and I'm really, excited to see what the next meetup is going to be, at the Barfield Crescent Park later in September. Hard to do there in South Texas. Not too many people. Sean Smith. Well, hail and welcome, Sean. Where in South Texas, are like Laredo, like that far south, or Corpus Christi, or like where exactly are you talking about? Because, and again, I'm not there. I don't know the climate. I don't know what's going on, but I know that there are plenty of groups regionally that you can tap into. I know Eric Shervin is East Texas. Okay, so Tyler, up in that area, he's got a great network. So the East Texas Heathens, Word Weaver Productions, Eric Shervin, the Ravens Call, like they are a Texas group. But Texas is a big freaking place, man. Like Texas is huge. So when you say, Southern Texas, I don't know what's going on down there, but if there's not something down there, my man, if there's not something already established, then why aren't you establishing something? Why aren't you doing something? There was nothing here in Middle Tennessee when I created the Middle Tennessee Heathens, at least not to what I was looking for, right? There was the Raven Moon Hearth Kindred, basically Nashville, and other fringe groups. But now we're starting to see a real interest in Middle Tennessee as a whole region. Would that have been there had somebody not done something? Maybe they're just like, maybe they were waiting for something to pop up, waiting for something to happen. Well, maybe in Southern Texas, you're going to be the catalyst. Maybe you're going to be the one to start something. Maybe you're the beacon. Maybe you're the one that lights that beacon and heralds the heathens of surrounding areas to be however big or small that is. We have the ability to reach people, especially now and today with modern social media platforms, right? Everybody's like, oh, I don't use Facebook, I don't use this. Well, okay, if you don't use it and you're not doing it, then the only reason you have to not have something is yourself. I don't use Facebook, I don't use Twitter, I don't use this, I don't use that. Well, why not? If you want something so bad, then use what you have at your disposal. Figure it out. Do the thing. Be the doer. It'll happen. You'll make things happen, and you'll again, you'll be that beacon that lights the torch, that heralds in other people. Because I guarantee you, if you're saying that there's not a lot of people in South Texas, then you are one of probably hundreds, at the very least dozens, if not more, people that are saying the exact same thing. Again, I'm not from there. I don't know. But I'm just suggesting the fact that if you're thinking that way, then there's probably other people that are thinking the exact same way for you. So if you are not finding a way, then you need to make a way. And consider that. Just consider it. I'm not telling you what to do, not telling you how to do anything. Consider it. Be inspired, right? be that beacon, light the torch, be the kenas, the count, that illuminating torch of the seeking of knowledge. Okay. I'm going to do one more stanza and then I'm going to wrap up this live stream. So for anyone that's just tuning in, the pinned post in the live chat, that is for Dingo's aid. It's a call to heathen action, or a heathen call to action, as it were. Help him out in any way that you can. Donate to the Ko-Fi link that's up above. All of that proceeds are going to go straight to him. We have a goal of a certain amount in place, so anything that you're able and wanting to contribute is appreciated. But if every one person that watches this stuff, that shares this stuff, that sees this, just does one contribution, we will definitely reach that goal. So the last stanza for tonight is going to be stanza 49. Vadir miner jaf yek veliot tveim tremomnum. Maybe that's a trenumenum. Sorry. Rekar totusk thetir ript hufurð nes nukvider hoy. I gave my clothes to 2 scarecrows once when I walked in a field. They thought they were human as soon as they had clothes on. A naked man feels ashamed. So that wraps up tonight's Havamal readings. We'll pick it up at another time at stanza 50. So for anybody that is interested in wanting to be notified of these stanza readings, please consider subscribing to this channel. I don't have a regular cadence that I'm currently running of these sorts of things, but I am going to consider pursuing that. I've done these before. I've again, up to now reached stanza 50. So I've done, a few live streams to get to this point. But I would definitely like to consider pursuing these on a more regular basis. And if you want to be a part of this and you want to see more of these, whether they are, a weekly thing or a monthly thing, then just subscribe to the channel, ding the bell for notifications, and make sure that all of your devices that you use, your phone, your tablets, whatever, have the notifications enabled for YouTube, because I know a lot of people miss the notifications for when I do upload content or go live. As long as you have your notifications turned on, that you want to receive all notifications. Again, YouTube doesn't default to anything. When you subscribe to this channel, YouTube doesn't default to anything. You've got to go and hit that bell notification and be notified of specific things. So make sure that when you do subscribe, that you're hitting the bell and you're selecting the all option for notifications. All right. So that is going to conclude tonight's reading of the Havamal. I do appreciate and value every one of you for being here. So thank you so very much. Until we talk again, may the gods continue to notice you, and may your ancestors smile upon you. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share to everything that you see here on this channel. And I greatly appreciate it. If you can donate to Dingo, then the link is right up there. It's going to be down in the description later on in case you catch this after the live stream. But it's been great. Thank you so much. Have a great night.